curious to know how everybody's doing. It's a Thursday, and I've got to admit, like changing my stream schedule around, combined with like having that fall last week, has been quite difficult. Actually, I've not been streaming as long this week, and I might sort of, if I have to, I'll keep streaming just 2 hours a day, um, when I can. I ended up yesterday. So yesterday I ended up hopping off early because my neck was in a lot of pain, and I ended up having to go and lay down and like rug up my neck and make sure it was like all warm and stuff like that. I ended up sleeping for quite some hours, and when I woke up, it wasn't as tight and sore, but it was still quite like I still had that really bad headache. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with that, but I think it was just like everything was just pulling and aching and stuff like that. But trying to remember to stretch, like just a little gentle stretch, like putting my shoulders down and moving them back and forth, just to kind of like mitigate that kind of like discomfort and pain. Um, Everything else, like for the most part, most of me is like healing. Just all my joints and stuff are really sore, and my neck, for some reason, has been like my neck and my shoulders probably the worst. Been going on for the whole week so far. But yeah, I think generally on a Thursday when I'm not streaming, I think I'm like dead asleep for like half the day, no joke. And my body's just like woke up today. Well, didn't wake up today because I didn't sleep, but it was like, "The fuck you doing? This isn't sleeping." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I have to get up. I've got to go like stream in a little bit." My body's like, "I don't condone any of this
System
shit."
failure. Shutting down.
So yeah, my body feels like kind of crappy, a little crappy. Um, Let's say, yeah, no, I don't have my light on. Fucking hell, it is bright in here, eh? I think of that every time I get into this game. I'm like, oh, I probably just have my light on or something, and it's not. It's just turned to nighttime. So what I actually want to do today is I want to go out to my bedrock mine. I want to poke my nose down in that hole and just like try to see roughly like how how many blocks wide by how many blocks long and tall it is, to kind of like get a gauge of a depth, because I think that would be kind of cool to know. I mean, it's not going to be perfectly accurate because obviously there's some sections where I haven't fully dug down, or I've dug down more, and in some parts I've dug down less. Like I know underneath the actual mine, pretty sure I've dug in by 3 or 4 blocks the whole way around the bottom and a couple of blocks high. But I also know that I've got a section that I've completely mined out off to the side. It's kind of like halfway down. That's not part of that. So it'd be interesting. At least you guys will get an estimate, because I've had a few questions about that, at least since I've like posted the TikTok and the YouTube short about the mine, and also I showed them at like nighttime, so it was really difficult to see. I was just gonna slap a couple of points on here. Gonna find out, because I think I finished putting points on something last time. This is one I was doing next. I'm basically mostly maxed out. It's not that far to go. I think I've got a couple of points left on this. Have a couple of points on electrocutioner. Fortitude's completely done. Strength's getting there. And perception's completely done. So there's really not that much left, but I am trying to get all this done and kind of trying to do what I can with the traders. I've said this a few times. I know that the game has a alpha update coming sometime, possibly later in the year. So I don't really want to just start a new game. But what I do want to do is at least like do as much as I possibly can in this game, so that when I do change over, I'm kind of like, oh, I've already done everything. The thing. So I'll just grab. I don't need to take my turrets. I'll probably just take my bike out for a drive. And not actually doing any mining itself. So I shouldn't need anything else like that. But I'm gonna need... I have... I'm just gonna check the stove. I am crouching. Alright. I was wondering why she was walking slow. I always forget that I crouch down. So in here I should have some boxes. That's gonna help. But I mostly just want to figure out like the width of it. But if I have to make more, I'm gonna take... I don't know if I've... That one's a stack. Yeah, okay, I'll have to break down the stack. So I'll take that with me, and if I need to, I'll open it. But if not, I'll just leave it stacked. And that way I'll just make up a heap of boxes for it. Let's talk about my drone. Actually looks like it took some damage somewhere. Go. Alright. Now, there's a very good chance. See, I don't think she can actually break her leg anymore, but there is a chance that she could. I'm not 100% certain about it. Right, there you are. Okay. Let's just smack these drinks away. So I was just kind of making them last time for the sake that I had the ingredients. I thought I'd make that. Let's see. Now, I don't have... I've got like a basic amount of ammo, basic amount of other stuff on me. I always find I'm always running around with rocks and plant fiber. I'm not really sure why. Like, in the later stage of the game, you just don't need either of these. Like, basically ever. But, I don't know. I just have like that placeholder sort of thing. Okay, so I won't be able to see while it's nighttime down there. But where I'm going is my bedrock falls. And funny enough, I actually started mining originally in this mine. I got pretty far down. And then I kind of stopped because I was looking for something else. I was looking for something that wasn't iron, nitrate, or coal. It might have been steel. I believe this one at the time was nitrate and steel. So I started digging into that for obviously nitrate and steel. And then obviously as you mine, you find other stuff too. That's always good. And I was trying to remember. Let's see, where is the green bases? So what I was thinking was, I remember one of the server members saying that there was a house along here somewhere that was a bunker. I'm just not quite sure which one. That looks like maybe a ranger outpost. I think it could be this one. Got like this perfect circle around it. I just thought that might be an interesting feature to go and check out, but not too stressed. Also, just an interesting fact, if you're trying to find where to mine things and you're not really sure, like if you pull up your map and say you're like right here, dead center, you can have a look at these rocks and they can have like, you get to know the shapes and stuff like that. So if you zoom right down, you can see like this like copper colored sort of one. So obviously you can mine, I think that's iron, and I think all the white ones are just rock. Black should be coal. I can't remember what white is, but I think that's nitrate. And I would imagine that like this kind of other color here might be like steel or something. So it's a good way for you to really easily find what's mineable in your immediate area. Like, for instance, up here in the snow, it's super goddamn awful to look at. But you can still see the perfect like little squares. And those will be something you can mine. The hell is that? I don't actually know what that feature is. Alright, well, I will, it'll be morning soon, hopefully. Not too dark at night, but it's a lot easier to kind of like go down and show the mine from the actual start of like daytime. Now, I do want to grab a little bit of food for her. I don't remember the last time I fed my person. And I'll get her a yucca smoothie. That'd be pretty tank. Okay. I don't want the glass. No, thank you. I mean, it is a fantastic way to get back home quickly if I was mining, but I don't actually need that. And I'll just check on this again. This is doing pretty well. Like, last time I ended up selling off a whole heap of my stuff just because I didn't need all the extra sort of stuff. Kind of forgot how, like, well lit this place was. I haven't actually gone outside at night for a little bit like this. What's my garden's doing? No, I don't think they're quite fully grown. They're close though. Flowers are ready, but I don't think the corn is. Mushrooms are, obviously. I must admit, like, as hard as it is to survive out in the snow, it's not too bad once you're later game or like even mid game. It's really only difficult when you begin, because when you begin you don't have certain perks and stuff. Like, I think it's in fortitude, or yeah, it should be fortitude. You can get well insulated, and obviously like you can max this out and stuff. But at the same time, obviously, if you don't have that, if that's not one of your first priority skills, if you're living out in the snow or desert or whatever, the next best thing you could do is just, where is it? These insulated liner mods are fantastic. If you can snag a couple of those around the place, you can really keep a person at a much warmer temperature. Think here. Or I know it says somewhere what like the current temperatures and stuff are, but let's have a quick look. Cold resistance. Yeah, I've got 97% cold resistance. So she basically doesn't feel the cold unless it's a blizzard, which is pretty good. So at the moment it's snowing, but it's not a blizzard. So yeah, she can handle that. It's 1 a.m. I might look at riding out. Thought about swinging past my Blood Moon Tower, but I don't really have anything to do there. Just having a look at what other features are around. I think that's the mansion one. Alright. Yeah, no, out here, I don't know. I don't get very many zombies. Like, I think earlier, before my wall was as solid and before my character actually had, like, decent guns, obviously a walking horde was still a concern. But it's not the biggest problem. Obviously, it's not a problem for me now. But, yeah, generally speaking, if you're in the snow, you've obviously got bears, cougars, got, you know, the lumberjack sort of, what do you call it, zombies. And then you've got walking hordes and stuff are also a concern. So, in my case, once I kind of had, like, a little bit of insulation against the cold, like, the other thing too is that you can also, like, build a few walls around yourself. Just basic walls, even just blocks placed would just help. And you slap a campfire down in the center and you can keep yourself quite warm. If you happen to find coffee, that can keep you warm too. If you're lucky enough to find a buckstrap coffee or a what you call it, yucca smoothie or something like that, you can really stay insulated pretty well. It always gets me how dark it is out here in the green. Like, when I play in a green map, I actually tend to get the night vision goggles, because I just don't like the concept of running around out on the ground and not being able to see either a zombie or wolf or zombie dog. There's always zombie dogs for some reason. I guess it's a biome that they spawn in. I got really close to potentially, like, starting a new map, just because I'm like, I like the sort of early game sort of part where you get to, like, build and you know, scavenge and all sorts of stuff. But I'm like, I really do want to try to max out my skill tree. I've done once or twice, but I'd really like to finish that. Get that finished, you know? The other thing too is when you're driving around, you know how I showed you with the map just a moment ago, how to like have a look at your map and see those squares? So when you actually pull up next to something that's mineable, you can pull up your map and immediately just check what color it comes up as. Alright. So I kind of don't want to frig around with it yet. I also don't think 60 odd blocks is going to be enough, so I'm just going to make a make. It's probably going to be too many. I can hear something. There isn't any metal, I don't think, down there. Maybe it's over here? I hear something like banging on a wall. Something metal. No? That was really weird. Okay, so yeah, this place was where I kind of chilled out. I would generally jump... Whoop. Come back here. Yeah, so I would generally jump up on this and I'd slap down a whole heap of boxes and go straight up to a roof. And that's kind of how I would survive. I feel like there could be a dog in here, maybe. Shit. Holy hell. Like, saw that at the last second, and of course my brain had, like, the word dog on my brain, so just freaked out. Okay. Yeah, there was a banging just then that sounded familiar. This place was pretty great originally. You know, it had like a small amount of fuel. You could get a drink. Oh shit! I got a learning elixir. Fuck yeah. That'll be good. All right. What is this? Oh, I was getting the container from the other side. I thought I walked over here and saw something come up as register before. I was actually trying to loot that, not reload, but you know, wrong button. There we go. Yes, this was great when it was like early, because I'd always need my person to have like some beverages, because she'd be like mining her ass off, and I would eventually run out of food and drink, and I'm like, I don't want to run all the way back home. I don't have a full inventory yet. I don't need that, and I don't really want to keep that. I'm tempted to make her eat it. But yeah, I don't really mind like holding on to a couple things. But yeah, let's see, loots. Yeah, same. Oh. Don't need plants. See, this is where you get lucky. You get like a glass jar and then you go and break it in the hole. And lets you like fast travel home. Bit of feather. It's almost morning, so I can go over there soon. Also, these barrels attract zombies. And have I actually been down here? I'll know if there's like a random ass hole in the wall dug out. Oh, it's that kind of one. Alright. Yeah, this would have been pretty cool to have hung out in when I was like mining. I never even came down here, I don't think. I hear something walking around. Nah, it's morning, they'll be fine. I definitely haven't actually come down here by the look of that. Not actually being undone. This would have been fantastic for sure. Oh yeah. These. So if you want to get like steel or brass, you can drill these off. I think I can use pretty much anything. So if I use, say, like the auger in lieu of the shovel, because I don't have a shovel. Now, it broke off, and if you see down the corner, on the right-hand corner, it was actually a whole piece. So now I have a whole shower head, and if I scrap that, I should get, in this case, I got iron. So that's actually not a too bad way. Like, you can do it for some sinks. What'd you do? Fall down the hole? Yeah, this would have been definitely somewhere I would have loved to have hung out away from the zombies, because there were some nights where, like, the zombies would hear me mining and they were just relentless. I think I had some days where I literally ran up here and, like, just scaled whatever I could. Huh. I can lockpick this. It's interesting. It's really interesting to me because I spent a lot of the early game around this area. Obviously mining. Nice. Alright, let's go back to mine now that we've got some daylight. So, my hope is... Also, you notice that, like, around the place I have, like, occasionally, like, a double block. When you're driving, the first block doesn't always show up straight up. So it's a bit easier to see. Okay. Kind of got, like, a whole heap of crap on me, but I wanted to get rid of that. Right. The other thing, too, is obviously I could mine all the trees and stuff. So what I want to do is I want to try to jump onto that and pick up the boxes to go the way down. But I just want to make sure I have an even number of boxes to begin with. Just move up onto this. Okay, how many boxes do I have? 68. I didn't end up making boxes before. So if I could make, say, 132. Craft that, that'll be a minute. Yeah, you can kind of see it from the other side. Like, it'll all make sense once I actually get down there. It's hard to see when it's all like the same stuff. I've heard people say that, like, certain types of terrains are really difficult. Yeah, come on. I don't think she's dead yet. Might be now. Yeah, when you're mining certain terrains, it can be very difficult to see where you're mining or what you're doing. I actually find that oil shale is the hardest one for me to mine. Visually, my brain has a lot of problems processing the rainbow sort of, like, vortex thing that we get into in there. But, like, rock, dirt, nitrate, steel, iron, all that sort of stuff, I'm pretty much fine with. Alright, so how we got? Okay, so I am starting with a count of 200 blocks. Okay? So, if we've got 200, let's go. Actually thought this would be a lot higher. Let's see. So it's actually only 39 high. I actually thought it was a lot higher than that. It's a surprise to me. Now I'm down the bottom. So now you can sort of see what I'm talking about. So I came perfectly down this wall, and this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. So I mined all the way further in under here. And I did this all the way around. And so that depth, let's see, let me just squiggle back out here. So I believe, I'm looking at it, I think this corner here would be the starting point. I don't know how we should go through here. Yeah, no. Okay, so obviously, like, I don't want to use up, like, the whole 39 or whatever, but so I wanted to do, just kind of want to make a crosshair of, like, how long and how wide. I think I'm out in the open now. Oh, I only tried to stand up. She bloody like full on hit her head and dodged sideways. I don't know if she can go straight under. Yeah, she can. And she is stuck. Let me get in from a different spot. How did I manage to get all the way to the fucking wall last time? Oh, that's right. You can dig a certain distance ahead of yourself. Alright, well, I'm just going to pull out the auger and just smooth out this and actually walk in Alright. That at least makes it easier. Also, this is like the max level auger with like the proper digging mods and stuff like that, so it doesn't take me long, as well as I've got the perks maxed out for it. Alright, so I just need to try to pull the 39 out of here, or otherwise my brain is not going to figure this stack out. Okay, so out of 200, I have used, I believe, 51 blocks, so it's 51 wide. And I'm just going to make this easier for myself again, chucking out some of these blocks. Be easier for me to remember going from 100. Now, I don't actually know if I can get straight out to where I dug this. No? There you go. You also notice you only actually have to take it off by like maybe one. And yes, they do take full damage. So it helps, but it doesn't really help if you get a horde down here. So the interesting thing is, I actually kind of thought that originally, my theory was that if I came, okay, my theory and my reasoning for digging the entire way down here was, I figured what would happen if I dug straight down, and then I dug around that point, and then I had this smooth wall coming straight down, right? Like this crap. My theory was that if I dug in and under, this would just collapse and I'd get a portion of the resources of rock or steel or whatever that would fall down and break apart. That doesn't actually happen. So what happens is, like, you can mine, as you can see, a fuck ton way in underneath, and it doesn't fucking collapse the wall. So that was really interesting to learn. Now let's see. I would probably say that here might be middle. Yeah. Like I said, this isn't going to be like perfect, but at least it gives you guys a rough estimate of the kind of like bedrock mine that I've got going here, because I know there's been a few kind of technical questions about like the specifics, and I just have not been able to answer them because I've never even thought of measuring this stuff. I'm gonna have to dig this in. Yeah, I'll do it. I'm not even worried about any of this collapsing, because like I said, it just doesn't do anything. That was the most frustrating part, was like by the time like I did that first tunnel, I'm like, oh, I've gone in by like, obviously, once we get back out here, The fuck is the surface? Alright. So, like, that whole row, I kind of figured it would be the standard 4 blocks, so about to there. And then the structural integrity of